being deep in the natural health world, I follow a lot of experts and influencers and such on social media. Well, Instagram, really. And earlier this year, I was like bombarded with all of these advertisements for a specific brand of an acupressure mat. After a while, I got curious. I looked it up. It was $80 and I was like, nope, that's not happening. But I did want to know why it was so popular all of a sudden. Eventually, I gave in and got a different brand off of Amazon that I found on a super sale and decided to try it for 30 days. I wanted to see if an acupressure mat would live up to the hype. And for such a great price, I mean, why not? And that's what I like to do as a health coach. I like to test things to see if they are worth it, to see if they taste good, to see if they do what they say they're going to do. And then I share that with you. And so that's what today's episode is all about. Welcome to the Therapeutic Food Solutions podcast. I'm your host, Marian Mitchell. I'm an integrative nutrition health coach, therapeutic diet expert, and founder of The Road to Living Whole. There are many different diets out there. It's hard to know which one is right for you with your chronic illness and autoimmune disease. In this podcast, I'm going to share with you the foundational pieces every single therapeutic diet out there shares, and also how to use the best one for your particular diagnosis. If you've been looking for a meal planning partner, help navigating the complicated healthcare system, and want to feel better quickly, I'm your girl. Grab your kombucha and notebook. Let's dive in. So before I dive into my experience with the mat, I want to talk about acupressure, where it originates from, how it's traditionally applied, and then why a mat seems to be so popular. So acupressure is a practice used in traditional Chinese medicine. It's similar to acupuncture, but instead of needles puncturing the skin, typically it's fingers being applied or massage that's being used. And traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, practitioners say that acupressure benefits are achieved by using pressure points along energy pathways of the body to encourage the free flow of energy, which is also known as qi. Acupressure is used to treat blocked energy. The scientific community isn't quite sure how it works. Some people think that the pressure might cause the release of endorphins, which are natural pain-relieving chemicals in the body. Others think that the pressure may influence the autonomic nervous system. This is the part of the nervous system that controls involuntary things like your heart, digestion, and breathing. According to the principles of TCM, invisible pathways of energy called meridians flow within the body. At least 14 meridians are thought to connect the organs to other parts of the body. A practitioner applies pressure to these other parts of the body, their specific acupressure points, to restore a healthy energy flow. And the points they choose depend on your symptoms. Given how meridians run, pressure points may be used a long way from where a symptom might be. For an example, there might apply pressure on the foot to be used to relieve a headache. It is often used to treat conditions including insomnia, stress, headaches, menstrual cramps, motion sickness, chronic pain, anxiety, helping to lower blood pressure, alleviating muscle tension and pain, helping to alleviate morning sickness, or nausea and vomiting after surgery or chemotherapy, and fatigue. Studies have shown that it does work compared to placebos or when they use false pressure points, which I think is actually pretty cool. Like, the studies show that this does work. And this is like an ancient therapy, so I just think that's really, really cool. So now let's talk about what an acupressure mat is and how that works compared to what we know about acupressure, massage, and, pressure points. These are a relatively new invention, and from my research, were created in the early 2000s. They aren't well studied. They are these mats that are covered in thousands of plastic spikes. They don't break the skin, so you don't have to worry about that. What they do is apply pressure to a large area. They claim to help with easing chronic pain symptoms, improving sleep, reducing headaches, and giving migraine relief, easing muscle tension, helping to alleviate anxiety, and increase blood circulation. I mean, those are pretty big claims, right? However, my mom is a massage therapist, and I know the amazing benefits of that. I know I've had acupuncture, I've had cupping done as well, and those are amazing too. So I figure, that there would be benefits with regular and consistent use of this acupressure mat. So I want to share my experience. So I got this mat, like I said, super good deal. Like I was just like, there's absolutely no reason for me to not try this now. Sure enough, it's spiky. When I was looking at these ads, there are people who are like, oh, you can like sit on it while you're working on the computer or lay on it while you're breastfeeding. And, and then people were like, hey, can you sleep all night on your acupressure mat? And I was like, wow, these people are like over the top, right? But I'm super curious. I decide to use it at night because I always get really tired when I lay down or like after massage. So I'm like, you know what? Might as well just make it part of my nighttime routine. Help me, get tired and ready for bed. I wasn't sure what to expect the first time I used it. I didn't really like look up any directions on how you're supposed to use it or anything. All these influencers and people were just like laying on it naked and showing their bare backs with all these like, imprints on them. So I was just like, okay, I'll do that. It was an interesting experience. It actually felt really good across most areas of my back, even like warm. I bought one that came with a pillow, so I was even able to get acupressure, the spikes and stuff all the way up my neck to like the base of my skull. And there were two areas that were actually quite tender. The very top of my neck where it meets my skull and along my bottom that touched the mat. Now, I'm petite. I am 5 3/4 inches. I do round up and say I'm 5'1". So like half of my bottom lays on this mat. And I would say it took like a good several minutes before my body was able to like relax and that really intense pressure eased and felt warm and actually felt nice. That night, I slept amazing. The second night was actually less pressure, so it didn't actually like almost hurt that time, and it actually was really relaxing. Again, I slept great. Like I was like, this is actually pretty cool, kind of wondering if this is like placebo effect or whatever, but hey, help. If I can sleep, I'm all for it. The third night was when something really cool started happening. So I'm laying there and I'm all relaxed and nice and warm, and I felt tension in my jaw release. A little bit of history around the tension in my jaw. In 2020, life started to get really crazy and I was stressed constantly. And this is before the pandemic. This is like January of 2020. And my face just started to feel really tight all of the time, especially my jaw. Every time I would get a massage from my mom, who is an amazing therapeutic massage therapist, by the way, I'd ask her to massage my face to help it relax. So to literally feel the tension ease was incredible, and it has not come back. As the days went on, I learned that if I had a particularly stressful day, that laying on the mat in the beginning, I'd be a lot more sensitive to the pressure and I'd have to lay on it longer to be able to relax and for it to really feel good and warm in that pressure to alleviate. On days that weren't stressful, I could lay on it and it was just relaxing and warm from the get-go. And typically I lay on it for 10 to 15 minutes. I usually set a timer, or in the beginning, I set a timer. Now I just kind of lay on it because it just feels so good. It's part of my nightly routine, and I honestly look forward to it. It's probably one of my favorite parts of my nighttime routine, which is kind of funny. So benefits I've noticed using it consistently is improved sleep and waking up rested, which is crazy cool. If you know the history of this, what this past year has been with recovering my adrenals and stuff, like my sleep improving, waking up rested have been so cool. I definitely have less tension throughout my body. Like I said, that tension in my jaw that I had for like 2.5, almost 3 years is gone. I feel like I have increased stress resiliency. Like I know when I have a really stressed day, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to lay on my mat and just like feel this melt away. Cause you hold tension. I know I do, especially in my shoulders. And I just feel like I can handle it better. And I really do feel like my body has been able to move away from fight or flight and into rest and repair. It's been really cool. So if you're looking for a gift for yourself or for a loved one who is kind of crunchy like us, I do recommend an acupressure mat. The prices range anywhere from like $30 to $80. There's lots of options out there. I'll put the link to the one I bought in the show notes for you so you can look at. And of course, you can compare it to other mats. I'm assuming there's not many differences. Usually the more expensive ones are just prettier or longer. Some of them come with foot mats, which I don't have, and I kind of wish I had one because I would like to see, if I'm laying there and put it on my bottom of my feet, what that would do. But I'm just really curious like that in general. So yeah, I do. I recommend them. I would say it lived up to the hype. And I think it was one of the best health investments I've made this year. Well, I've made a lot of health investments this year, but it's definitely one of the top ones that I've made in a while that's really affordable, and it just like keeps on giving. You don't have to keep investing in it, like food or supplements or doctor's appointments or tests or things. Like, it's been a really good investment for me. Now, before you go, I do want to share a few ways I'd love to help you navigate the diet and lifestyle side of managing autoimmune and chronic disease symptoms. Managing stress and finding tools like an acupressure mat is one part of managing symptoms. Your diet plays a huge role, and luckily, it isn't as cumbersome, overwhelming, and restrictive as many experts out there make it out to be. As a health coach of 10 years, I have tried and trued strategies for helping you break up with chronically dieting for your diagnosis and or symptoms and onto a way of eating for everyday life, and then a different way of eating when you're in a flare. I teach you this through my coaching program, the Therapeutic Food Framework. It's part self-paced online course, part one-on-one coaching, unlimited email support, plus there's group coaching and an amazing student community. Because we all know that when you are changing your lifestyle, friends and family can be really resistant to that, and it feels really lonely. Having a community that, one, understands what you're going through because they're going through it too, and then two, are also on the same path of wanting to get healthy, it's just an incredible support system. And I want to make the transition to eating for your health simple and enjoyable. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you found this episode helpful, would you do me a favor and help others find it by leaving a review, sharing a screenshot on social media, or sharing the link with a friend? By you sharing what you've learned, others are able to find this podcast and join our community. Be sure to check out my website, www.roadtolivingwhole.com, for over 160 delicious recipes, a variety of meal plans, and a blog packed full of even more healthy living tips. If you'd like to learn more about how to work with me as your coach, you can schedule a free consult through www.roadtolivingwhole.com/health-coaching/. Until next time, friend. Bye.